The motion accorded priority having concluded, the House will now consider government business. I call the Minister to introduce the local government, Shellharbour and Wollongong councils. Wollongong. I don't need any help, thank you. Order Wollongong elections in brackets bill. I call the Minister.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I give notice of motion to introduce the local government brackets Shellharbour and Wollongong elections close brackets bill 2011. Okay. This one? Yeah. I move that a bill be introduced for an act to provide for elections for councillors for Shellharbour and Wollongong City Councils in September 2011 and for other purposes.
The question is that this bill be now introduced. All of that opinion say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Minister.
I bring up the bill and move that the bill be now agreed to in principle. Mr Deputy Speaker, Wollongong City Council was dismissed in 2008 following a recommendation by ICAC which identified systemic issues and a culture of corruption that needed to be fixed. Only a few hours ago, former Labor councillor on Wollongong Council, Frank Gigliotti, was sent to jail for lying to the ICAC. The actions of councillors and members of staff like him not only stained the reputation of Wollongong Council, but also the reputation of the Illawarra area. Shellharbour City Council was also dismissed in 2008 after a public inquiry found Shellharbour Council was dysfunctional. The previous Labor government decided both councils were to remain under administration until September 2012. This government wants to return democracy to the people in Wollongong and Shellharbour local government areas. This government made a commitment that both Wollongong and Shellharbour City Councils would have democratically elected councils in place in 2011. This government fulfils its promises. The council elections will take place on the 3rd of September 2011. In reaching this decision, the New South Wales Liberal National Government has listened to the community. I have listened to our newly elected members for Kiama, Gareth Ward, and Heathcote Lee Evans, who campaigned strongly on this issue. In Heathcote, Lee Evans had a swing to him of 21.7%, and in Kiama, Gareth Evans had a swing to him of 19.4%. It is worth noting that the swing against Labor, the Labor member for Wollongong, was 24.3%. I believe that the community is strongly looking forward to being able to elect its own councillors once again. Going to the detail of the bill, it will ensure fresh elections for both councils are held on the 3rd of September of this year. The bill will make sure that the ratepayers of both councils are not faced with the cost of another council election within 12 months. The bill provides for a one-off 5-year term for both councils, saving Wollongong Council an estimated amount of $943,000 and Shellharbour Council an estimated amount of $307,000. The next local government elections for these councils after 2011 will be in September 2016. This will bring these two councils back into line with the local government election cycle for the rest of the state. In relation to Shellharbour City Council, the bill also addresses concerns raised in the Shellharbour Public Inquiry report about the structure of the council. The Commissioner found that the current structure of the Shellharbour City Council contributed to its dysfunction. The report highlighted the problems in relation to a ward structure for the council. The size of Shellharbour local government area makes Shellharbour City Council more suited to having no wards at all. Shellharbour is relatively small in size, about 147 square kilometres, with a population of approximately 65,000. This bill abolishes wards for Shellharbour City Council in time for the fresh elections on the 3rd of September 2011. This removes the need for a constitutional referendum to be held to abolish all wards, the result of which would not have come into effect until 2016. Shellharbour is about 100 square kilometres smaller than its neighbouring council area, Kiama, which also has no wards. The former Labor Mayor of Shellharbour Council, Mayor Hamilton, gave evidence to the public inquiry stating that the maintenance of the ward boundaries is problematic. The bill also reduces the number of councillors for Shellharbour City Council to 7. By doing so, it addresses another factor identified by the Shellharbour Public Inquiry as contributing to the dysfunction of the council. Former Mayor Hamilton also stated at the public inquiry that he held a personal view that a reduction in the councillor numbers to 6 and a mayor would be a good option. He gave evidence that he believed it would lead to better governance and save money. He further stated, and I quote, "Councillors would still be able to represent the residents at a high level," end quote. The council itself, in a submission to the public inquiry, also acknowledged the advantages of reducing councillor numbers. The abolition of wards and the reduction of councillor numbers to 7 will mean that the method of electing councillors will change from optional preferential to proportional representation, with a quota of 12.5% plus 1 for a councillor to be elected. Currently, the system for counting votes in a contested election for a ward or undivided area is to be optional preferential if the number of councillors to be elected is 1 or 2, or proportional if the number to be elected is 3 or more. The proportional voting system is generally used across all levels of government in multi-member electorates because it is designed to allocate seats or offices in proportion to the overall number of votes obtained by the candidates. The abolition of wards in the Shellharbour local government area will lead to a lower quota, which is expected to encourage more people to stand for office and therefore enhance the democratic process. The bill also changes the method of election for the mayor at Shellharbour City Council. The mayor is now to be elected by the councillors every 12 months from one of their number. The bill therefore provides for all of these important changes to be put in place in time for the fresh elections on the 3rd of September 2011. This will enable the newly elected council to start afresh without having to incur the costs of conducting constitutional referenda to make these changes to its governance structure. If in the future the council wants to divide itself into wards, alter its councillor numbers, or change the manner in which its mayor is elected, it will be able to do so. In relation to Wollongong City Council, in 2008, following the ICAC Operation Atlas hearing, ratepayers' satisfaction with Wollongong Council was at an all-time low. However, a recent administrator's report noted that public confidence in council had improved markedly due to actions taken by the administrators, including, firstly, restoring the reputation of Wollongong City Council; secondly, maintaining a corruption-resistant organisation with zero tolerance of corruption; thirdly, introducing contemporary local environmental planning controls and more efficient processes for assessment applications; fourthly, effective corporate governance and leadership; and fifthly, diligent management of council finances, including budgeting and control. The bill requires the administrators of Wollongong City Council to reduce the number of wards for the council from 6 to 3 by the 24th of June 2011. This will mean that the council will have 3 wards with 4 councillors per ward and a mayor who is elected by all of the electors. In other words, a popularly elected mayor. This reflects the geographic size and population of Wollongong. The population is almost 200,000 people, and it has an area of 684 square kilometres, comprising a long coastal area stretching from the Royal National Park to Lake Illawarra. It is the 3rd largest city in New South Wales and the 9th largest city in Australia. Its CBD is a major commercial hub. The bill allows for this to happen within a short period of time. This is because all ward boundaries need to be finalised by the 24th of June 2011 in order for the New South Wales Electoral Commissioner to do the work required in order to conduct elections on the 3rd of September 2011. This change in ward structure will mean that the method of electing councillors for each ward will change from optional preferential to proportional representation. This is the method used in most council areas in New South Wales and will allow greater diversity in representation. As in the case of the changes to Shellharbour City Council, the bill preserves Wollongong City Council's ability to make future changes in the number of wards should its community so desire. I want to conclude with a quote from the editorial in the Illawarra Mercury today, and I quote, "We need fresh, energetic local government leaders. We need new faces, new voices and new ideas. The Council's time under administration has allowed us to put some distance between the present and the sorry and sordid past of the corruption in Wollongong and dysfunctionality in Shellharbour. Now we need to keep walking," end of quote. The provisions of this bill will allow new faces, voices and ideas for the people of Wollongong and Shellharbour in their local government areas, because it will allow fresh, energetic local leaders to have a chance to become an elected representative. The Liberal National Government will help the people of Wollongong and Shellharbour to keep walking away from the sorry and sordid past of corruption and dysfunctionality. We have returned democracy to Wollongong and Shellharbour. We have kept our promise. I commend the bill to the House.
The question is that this bill be now agreed to in principle.